Next point, working mechanism of human heart. Human heart alternately contract and relax. Contraction of human heart, it is known as systole, while relaxation of human heart, it is known as diastole. Human heart shows systole and diastole alternately. A consequent systole and diastole constitute single heartbeat. This single heartbeat is known as cardiac cycle. Single cardiac cycle completed in 0.8 seconds. Such a 72 heartbeat take place during 1 minute in normal healthy human being at a rest position. Working mechanism of human heart. In this, first, that is atrial systole. Right atrium receive deoxygenated blood while left atrium receive oxygenated blood. As soon as both the atrium get full of blood, pressure exerted on the wall of atrium. In response to this pressure, SA node get excited and they pass impulse of contraction. Due to this special cardiac muscle, atria get contract and blood travel to ventricle. Backflow of blood, it is prevented to go in vein and coronary sinus with the help of ischial wall and Sebacean wall. In this way, atria at first shows systole and after that they shows diastole. In this way, atria remains in systolic condition for 0.1 second and in diastolic condition for 0.7 second. Working mechanism of human heart. In this, we have to study about ventricular systole. SA node passes wave of contraction or impulse toward AV node. AV node get excited and they send that impulse of contraction toward bundle of His present in wall of ventricles. Bundle of His gives that wave of contraction toward Purkinje fiber and it spread all over the wall of ventricle. Suddenly, ventricle undergoes systole. That means they get contract. At that time, auriculoventricular aperture get closed by closing cuspid walls to prevent flow of blood from ventricle to auricle. At that time, due to closing of cuspid wall, one sound is produced in heart that is known as love sound. After that, when these ventricles are under systolic condition, blood travel into pulmonary aorta and systemic aorta. When these apertures are closed, that means deoxygenated blood from left ventricle travels into pulmonary aorta, and from pulmonary aorta it travels toward two branches of pulmonary aorta, that is pulmonary artery. Simultaneously at that time, oxygenated blood from left ventricle travels to systemic aorta. After that, ventricle suddenly undergoes diastolic condition. At that time, backflow of blood from pulmonary artery and systemic aorta toward both the ventricle is prevented by closing of semilunar wall. At that time, heart produces second sound that is known as dub. In this way, ventricle remain under diastolic condition for 0.5 seconds. Sometimes in heart, these walls are defective, and hence advantageous heart sound produced in heart, which is known as murmur, and this is known as murmuring or hissing sound of heart. After that means after systole and diastole of ventricle, for 0.4 second, all four chambers, that means two auricle and two ventricle, remains in diastolic condition, and this condition is known as joint diastole of all four chambers, or it is known as complete diastole of heart. In this way, a single cardiac cycle or single heartbeat produce within 0.8 seconds. In this way, oxygenated blood from left auricle to left ventricle and deoxygenated blood from right auricle to right ventricle and during ventricular systole, oxygenated blood from left ventricle and deoxygenated blood from right ventricle travels toward body. During single cardiac cycle, about 70 ml of blood, that means 70 ml of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from both the ventricle travels toward body within one heartbeat. It is known as single cardiac cycle. In this way, we can calculate stroke volume. That means stroke volume is 70 ml, while during 1 minute there are 72 heartbeats. That means 72 cardiac cycles take place during 1 minute. In this way, we can calculate total cardiac output. That means CO is equal to HR into SV. That means 70 into 72 is equal to 5040 ml. That means approximately 5 ml, 5 liter of blood is pumped by both the ventricles during systole. In this way, we studied about working mechanism of human heart. That means cardiac cycle, auricular systole, ventricular systole and joint diastole.